Having been around for a while, I've started to see reoccurring things coming up, and this is from writing for certain websites and having my YouTube videos. Now, first of all, this is not tax advice, and this is not financial advice. This is just some things that people bat around as generic or general statements who perhaps don't really understand the business of photography. And these are the sorts of sayings which go a little bit like this. Oh, the kit paid for itself. Okay, so let's think about that. The kit paid for itself. Now, say we spend £5,000 on a bit of kit and we do a £5,000 job. How's that kit paid for itself? No, probably not, because there's other expenses involved. Say we make £30,000 and we have a £5,000 camera. Has that paid for itself? And this is where people would argue that yes, it has. But my counter argument to that, and a more sensible business sense to that is, could you have done it with a cheaper bit of kit? Could you have done it with a £1,000 camera and therefore made an additional £4,000? So although yes, kit can be said to have paid for itself, I could say the video I'm doing these on has paid for itself because I've made more money from YouTube than the camera cost me. However, that wouldn't be the full story, and also I could have done it with a cheaper camera. The reason I didn't is actually because I needed this camera for something else, but that's by the by. Now, it's very easy to justify a purchase because you think it will pay for itself, but the bigger question you should really be asking yourself in these situations is, can I do it with something cheaper? And a good saying to go along with this is, a penny saved is better than a penny earned. So you don't pay tax on your savings, you do, but not on money saved through logistical reasons, but you do on money earned. So it's better to save £4,000 of that £5,000 buying a £1,000 camera than it is to make the extra £4,000 and be taxed on it. So there's a few things in there, and yes, that is a gross oversimplification of it, but you get the gist. Now, similar to that is the saying which is, it's just the cost of running a business. There is a great book, which name escapes me, I'll try and leave it in the comments if I can remember it, and it talks about running a cafe, and it talks about all the ways you can save money running a cafe. So little things like individual sugar sachets rather than a large bowl which you have to bin when it gets damp and gross. So all these little things you can do to save money because this is a better way to have a profitable business. Just because it can be a cost of running a business doesn't mean it should be. Some people would say that for me, having a huge server is just the cost of running a business, but I don't have a huge server, I use multiple hard drives because it is cheaper. Some might say that the cost of running a business is having a phase 1 on hand all the time, but I don't, I rent it when I need it, and in the meantime I use cheap Canon cameras because it's more affordable. So just because you're hearing people say it's the cost of doing business doesn't mean it has to be your cost of doing business. Keeping your overheads down, which is probably the best thing this pandemic has taught most photographers who've struggled in between because they had no money, it's just the best way to go about business. Keeping it lean, don't take on huge overheads like photographers did in the noughties and 90s because they all went bust in the financial crisis. Keep it lean, just try and get everything as cheap and affordable as possible. And the final one is something that is absolutely true but also is used in the wrong way. I put it down as a business expense. It's tax deductible. Yes, it's tax deductible, and yes, it can be a business expense, buying a new camera, or whatever it may be, painting the office. But that is not reason alone to do that thing. So let's say it's tax deductible, and we can save £1,000 on tax by redecorating the office. That's great. Does it make us any more money? No. Would £1,000 on a faster rendering machine make us more money? Perhaps, because we could do more work. So, it's all about not just is it tax deductible, but is there a return on that investment? Will it make you money or save you time? Or produce better work, which is a very difficult concept to get through to tax people because you're just going, well, it's a good spend because I will actually produce better work in the future. How do you quantify that? It's like, well, it's very difficult, but hopefully one day my work will be better and therefore I'll make more money. Which is a very easy way for you to justify to yourself buying new kit, so try and avoid it at all costs, but yeah. You get the gist. Likewise with things being tax deductible or an expense. Yes, it can be a business expense. A lot of my friends who don't run businesses go, oh, you can't just put it down as a business expense. So a couple of things to this. One is, yes, I can, but I have to have the cash first. I can't just go and buy a £50,000 car for my business on a whim because it's a business expense. You need to have that £50,000, and not just that. You need more money set aside just in case you need to use that $50,000 for something else. But also, and to harken back to all of these points here, business expenses, tax deductibles, the cost of running business, all of this stuff, unless it's actually saving you money or making you money, it is not a viable purchase. And it is the biggest thing that I see photographers come unstuck with. I am shooting on like ancient gear all the time as a professional because it's just the best way to do things in a money saving way. I buy everything second hand rather than brand new because I don't want to have the devaluation happen on my time. I'm not buying a £3,000 camera if I can get it second hand for £2,500 because there's £500 saved. And let's be honest, most time it's more than that. My £3,500 cameras cost me £2,000 for two, and it's a great saving. I could now buy 3 of my cameras for the same price that someone else paid for one when it was brand new. And we'd still have the same camera each, but I'd have 3 of them, so I'd have backups or second cameras for shooting multiple setups. Anyway, I hope this has helped. I hope it's given you a bit of an insight into how I personally like to look at expenses and expenditures and how I like to spend my money. But there we go. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.